Hello and welcome to an episode of Going Nowhere podcast. My name is Mark,
I'm Johnny.
And Sheldon.
and we all of us have seen Deadpool twice now. So let's talk about that quickly.
Deadpool was great. I think we can all agree it was basically what we expected going in. The marketing campaign did not fail the movie.
It's good. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the most comic booky movie we've gotten, in the fact that it's like the story isn't like
The story's pretty
story-
stock.
yeah.
The villain was pretty, Ajax is pretty
Generic.
one-dimensional. Same thing we've seen before. But considering that, there's something about it that stood out. And I think because it's more like a comic book, and that they just kind of went balls to the wall with it.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie.
I think even audiences who aren't familiar with the character were able to get a lot out of it. Like, it did a good job of tailoring to the people who keep up with the movies, putting in little jokes like that, but at the same time, a lot of the humor was, accessible for everybody. I remember in the theater listening to some older woman who was laughing her head off about a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's good. I think it was a lot more successful than they thought it would be, considering the rating.
Yeah, well, rated R in the States.
And then we found out, the week it was about to premiere, that it was 14A in Canada, because our rating system is fucking weird.
Pretty worried that we were going to go see a neutered version of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So you're like, 14A, they must have cut a bunch of shit.
But if they're saying it's a hard R in the States and we get it as 14A,
what the
Wasn't
fuck?
It should have been 18A in.
Well, there's one part where the guy gets thrown, and it's just a pile of gore, splattering against the side of
and
his
then you
truck.
get full frontal nudity at the strip club.
Yeah.
You get both genitalias.
Yeah, that's
like-
true.
If that's not 18A, what the fuck is?
I actually don't know what you need to get an 18A.
Well, I'm
okay,
sure
but
Evil
they
Dead
were
was,
very
right?
brief.
The remake?
I think the reason why it was 14A here in Canada is because they were brief scenes. Yeah, there was gore here and there, but it wasn't that.
It
gory.
showed him, spoiler, sawing off his own hand, and then it's spinning
that was
around,
pretty gory.
flipping off.
It wasn't
Colossus.
that gory.
That's-
Maybe
you're
maybe I might just
desensitized.
maybe I'm just desensitized.
I think we are desensitized.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh yeah, it was pretty gory, and I watched it and I was like, I could have used more gore.
For audiences that don't watch our movies, because our movies don't get released to theaters ever
Yeah,
nowadays,
that's true.
I mean, that's got to be something kind of shocking.
The guy crawling on the ice,
Especially
just blood trail.
for a comic book movie.
Yeah, that's
You
very
don't
true.
see that in comic book
I think
movies.
because of how lighthearted it was, it's hard to take the gore as seriously as in the Saw movies.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a different tone.
Well, look at The Wolverine. It was released in theaters at what, 14A? What was that?
I think
It was PG. I think.
PG. And then after it came out in theaters and it was kind of meh, they released the unrated cut on Blu-ray. And they added all the blood and all the gore that Wolverine needs, because he's literally chopping motherfuckers' hands off and faces off because he has goddamn claws.
It was way better, that version.
I do need to watch that version.
It's
Yeah.
better. It still doesn't make the movie great, but it's definitely a step
I
up.
wish that was the version I had seen the first time. I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more, because it would have seemed a lot more ballsy.
Instead of neutered version.
It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I what I liked too was what they did with Wade Wilson, because Ryan Reynolds just is Deadpool. I think he is basically the perfect person for the role.
He's been into the character since 2005, from when I
Yeah,
from
and
what
you
I
could tell he had a big part in it, that he was passionate about it, and that goes a long way, I think.
And to be fair, the best part of Wolverine Origins was when he played Wade Wilson prior to being Deadpool in that.
Yeah, he was
clever.
pretty much. Well, I haven't seen that movie
We'll fix that.
yet, but of the parts I've seen
Riff track.
were with Ryan Reynolds being him, and then I did see the ending. But I haven't watched the full movie from start to finish. Yeah, no, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
This is a great job.
And they're already talking about sequels and what they're going to do to tie it in and what characters they're going to incorporate.
Yeah, well, the struggle with this movie from the start is that the studio didn't want to do a rated R one, and then the footage got leaked, and all the fans were asking for a rated R one.
Yeah.
But I watched an interview with the scriptwriters, and they said that the studio had asked them to do a PG-13 version of their script.
Yeah.
In order to like see what that could be, and that PG-13 script ended up not being good, and like the writers, as they were like showing the script to the studio heads, they're like, no, this is why it needs to be rated R. And then at that point, the studio was just like, okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, do
and
what
then,
you want.
Yeah, and then they never interfered again.
I just want to point out that's coming from the same studio that made Fantastic Four Stick.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
I think it's only solely because of how amazing that test footage was.
Yeah.
That somehow miraculously, wink, wink, got leaked.
Yeah, it was
right.
Definitely
intentional.
Ryan
They
Reynolds.
they were like, you know what, this is going to, you know, there's an audience out there for it. We
Yeah,
just
and
need to
the
prove it.
fan like outcry for it.
That said, they didn't give it a budget. It only had a $54 million budget.
Yeah.
Like it pieced, like it had nothing, and it made so much fucking back.
I'm surprised that the leaked footage was basically exactly how, like in the movie, that it was basically exactly the same.
The only thing that was missing was the picture of like when he chops the guy's head off and like showing
He's
him
showing
the
it
picture.
to him, yeah.
Yeah.
But he just showed him, have you seen this man?
Yeah, Francis.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, it's weird that a studio wouldn't interfere after that, but I think the cooperation of the writers and everybody who was making that movie may have made an impact on the studio, giving leeway, because I know Josh Trank during Fantastic Four was
Worst
like
time ever.
having tantrums and throwing shit and stuff like that. Granted, from the rumors I've heard, yeah, like completely
Different movie.
well, yeah. Somebody kind of explained it as when you hire a director, it should be the studio's vision. It's the studio's movie. It's not the director's movie. Basically, the studio is the house, and the director is the home decorator. So the studio sits down with the director, tells them what they want. They work out a plan, and then the director goes and decorates the house.
That's why things didn't work out with Edgar Wright for Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly. It's because Edgar Wright holds so much to his movies and his way of directing things, right?
Yeah.
And his vision. He wants to do it by himself. That's why
Some directors need that full creative freedom, I think.
Yeah, and on top of that, Josh Trank, it was his first movie after whatever that movie he made before.
I don't know.
Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It was his first movie after that, and his like first real big
That's
studio budget.
really shitty for him.
Yeah, no kidding.
So like the studio was like, oh hey, let's push him around a bit too, and like what they had agreed on for what they were gonna make, ended up being not at all what they got because the studio kept interfering, and that's why it was so fucking.
Now,
shitty.
Tim Miller, on the other hand, is going to go on to have probably a more successful career.
Yeah, well, because if you think about it, those writers did write a PG-13 script for their studio, and they were like, this is what we can do. And then the studio was like, you know what?
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it rated R.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad they did.
Oh yeah, it made it so much better. Could you imagine without any F-bombs in it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and like my argument to that is like because he's so like meta, he could have like made a joke about it being PG-13 and like having
they
Yeah,
already
they-
made that
stuff like
joke
that.
though in the April Fool's marketing trailer.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I like that they took that opportunity to poke fun at themselves for all that stuff and to make fun of the studio. Like when he answers the door at the mansion and there's just the two of them and he's like, funny there's only two of you here. It's almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Men.
That I loved the Green Lantern stuff in there,
References, yeah.
and when it's like, oh, my favorite toy, and it pans, and it's just
Yeah,
him as Deadpool, the
From-
shitty X-Men
Yeah.
Origins.
Yeah.
That's so.
It's
funny.
pretty cool because it's one thing to actually just mention it passing by, but they actually had the
toy.
toy for it. That's brilliant.
That means they paid money for that.
Yeah, no,
To make
it
it,
definitely it did it justice by being rated R for sure. But now that this movie is so successful, highest grossing rated R movie
Ever, right?
ever,
All
yeah.
time, yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna start seeing just rated R superheroes left and right because studios are like, oh,
There's a market for
there's
this.
a market for this.
If it's suitable for the character and it's well done, it won't be bad. If you get a Blade movie that's R, that's fucking fine. You get Spawn, there's plenty of comic book characters, the Punisher, that can be R. And if they do it justice, then it's fine. But if they start turning like Groot into his own spin-off R-rated movie where he just like kills people as trees.
Yeah, it definitely has to be character
It's
appropriate.
the happening.
And I think part of the reason Deadpool did so well is because of the marketing. We were talking about how low a budget the movie had compared to, the X-Men movies, that sort of thing. But they put a lot of money into marketing, and I think that did go a long way.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, and like both times I went to see it, the theater was full.
Packed.
Guarantee you, like half of the people in that crowd didn't know
What a Deadpool
what a
was.
Deadpool was.
It's cool though. I'm glad they're able to do that sort of stuff. And again, with the marketing, it worked out really well in their favor, and it's not like really shitty marketing like Batman versus Superman.
versus Superman.
That's really bad. But actually, as a quick aside, I'm just wondering, when you guys went to see it the second time, did people leave during the credits?
No.
Because a lot of people left
In that
during
first-
the credits.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We left during the credits the second time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
Like
No one left in the first one. The
few
second.
people left.
Yeah, a few people did.
Yeah, but the second time we saw it, we left.
We left
Because
because
we'd already
we already
seen
saw
it.
it.
So you knew it was.
But the entire time we were going down the stairs, we're like, oh, they all think we're noobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all think we're stupid.
Well, but on day one, yeah, they're all fucking stupid. Everyone who left.
Yeah, at least
the
this was Tuesday. We were like, it's been out for almost a week. Don't judge us.
Yeah,
We've seen it.
the Bueller ending after the credits, so good, so good.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
That Marvel movie has stuff after the end of the credits. Shock.
Yeah. What? Go fucking see it. And
It's
sit
only
there.
like the 20th Marvel movie in the past 10 years.
Well, they don't do it for like X-Men, do they?
Yeah, they sure do.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't remember saying
Wolverine
for.
at the end had them going to the airport terminal.
Days of Future Past
I don't remember that one.
had
Apocalypse.
Oh wait, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yes, I did stay for that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, they all do that horse shit.
cool.
Because that
Well,
way,
it makes sense. Like if you're gonna have credits, people leave during credits, so
No
you
one-
never really see who.
you don't watch the credits anyway.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
You're waiting
That's
for
very
it,
true.
so-
But it's kind of their sneaky way.
like we joke about it when we're looking at the credits. We point out names and we're like, that guy.
But I think Deadpool had in their credits jokes.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
They actually did. If you were watching, yeah.
which is great. I think that's awesome for like that type of movie.
Well, the opening of the movie's credits are
Yeah.
just jokes, right?
Yeah.
Written by some overpaid tool. Like, directed by.
Yeah, that was for
A
the director.
CGI character and a hot chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. The marketing for that
critically.
was just so good.
Definitely.
Yeah, you saw that everywhere. I like the Valentine's Day one where they posted up, but we talked about that for trailers last
Yeah.
episode.
Or two
Yeah,
episodes ago.
we were
two
talking about it
episodes ago.
recently.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
pretty recent.
But what recently came out was the new Batman versus Superman trailer, which should have been their first fucking trailer that they released.
instead of
The
spoiling
last
everything.
one.
Yeah, because this one literally just concentrated on Batman versus Superman and had like a really cool Wonder Woman jump.
Yeah, I actually I liked how much Batman they had. Like the very beginning of the trailer was just him beating up some guys,
Random thugs.
Yeah.
which I'm kind of excited to see because I think he'll do a pretty
Zack
good job
Snyder
as
does
Bruce
good.
Wayne.
Zack Snyder does good action scenes for sure.
Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much why they chose him to direct these movies.
It wasn't for his color palettes.
No,
Say that.
certainly not.
God. Just do Dragon
It's like when
Ball
we were
Z.
rewatching Sucker Punch, and I was just like, God, this is way darker than I thought it was. That one kind of makes sense for the tone, but
There is color when they go to the imagination parts. Like
so there's that contrast.
That's the idea between.
Yeah.
It gets more and more colorful the further away from reality.
It is more bothersome in Man of Steel than
because there's no excuse for
in Sucker Punch and Watchmen.
A vibrant superhero.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to the whole like Deadpool rated R success thing. Is like studios for some reason have it so backwards where they go, oh well, if it was successful here, then let's just recopy that a whole bunch of times, and that's why Man of Steel has that tone is because of Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Instead
Because
of it being
studios
some sort
don't
of fresh
fucking
take.
get it. Yeah, exactly. They just rehash shit like color tones and
But
whatnot.
that's
right?
because they're about making money. They don't care about making good movies.
Yeah.
As a studio, you're not the director, you're not the actor, you're not getting... You don't get awards for being the best studio. Marvel Studios is not getting accredited for...
Very true.
Yeah,
They
your
get is
job
paid.
your job is to be profitable.
And you know what's profitable? The things that make money.
Yeah.
You know, made money? Fucking Christopher Nolan's Batman. And if Batman's makes the monies, we go where the money is. Right? So make Man of Steel Batman's. And then
Batman's.
Batman's. Now it's Batman's.
And Ben Affleck's.
I'm interested to see. I think they'll do a good Batman.
Oh, Ben Affleck.
I think
Like
he will.
I think he's a definite Bruce Wayne.
You know who would be a better Batman though? Jesse Eisenberg. Because we can fucking cast him as anyone apparently.
Still can't get over the fact that he's Lex Luthor.
But maybe he's not.
Maybe he could be fucking all of them. I want to see a strictly Jesse Eisenberg Batman v Superman. He plays all of the roles.
Was it with you, Joni, that I was like super angry about the Joker with? And you're like, but what if he's like pretty good? Or like, what if he's not the Joker? And I'm like, but he still has that goddamn damage tattoo.
That's what gets
Tattooed
you.
on his forehead. So no matter how good of a fucking performance he does, I'm still gonna stare at the damage tattoo and fucking hate it. It's just there.
I think it's a
forever.
combination of that and the grills. It's kind of off-putting. It's like,
You say the grills, but I'm gonna say it again. It's because he's been punched in the face.
yeah,
like that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You're gonna lose teeth.
See, that makes sense.
Damage.
But
though.
the damage tattoo is gonna be there on his goddamn forehead the entire
That's why I
time.
hope it's Jason Todd. And
Yeah.
then to fuck with him, he just like damaged and J for Jason, and that's why you get the wrecked Batman suit in the Batcave in the Batman v Superman trailer.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it might maybe.
That's my hope. They probably.
But my problem.
That's so convoluted.
Yeah,
though.
and that's the thing is it's like, will people fucking get it?
Oh, I don't know if you heard about this, but they're saying that people won't like Batman v Superman because it's too smart.
Yeah, no, they were like, Marvel moviegoers won't get it because it's smart. Which, I kind of agree with, what's his name from, Red Letter Media.
I don't know
Mike?
his name.
Yeah, Mike.
I know what you're talking
Jay.
about.
Jay.
Or
Jay?
Mr. Plinkett. Mr. Plinkett.
It's definitely Mr. Plinkett. No, I agree. I kind of agree with that statement for the fact that if they do go the like gods versus man and like ideologies route, that like Zack Snyder has been talking about for a while now, it might be too slow paced for Marvel
But
fans who
did
are
you
just
not
like super into it for like the quick
See the
hits.
trailer? They showed the whole movie.
Yeah,
And unless that's a
was-
4-hour movie, there's so much fucking packed into that.
Sure, yeah, the second trailer was a shitty trailer.
I'm just...
Trailer 3, which was the final trailer, was the
Yeah,
best.
it made me more interested in the movie, I think, than the other ones.
Yeah, well, it was the same thing with that Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think that so far that's only a teaser and a trailer, right?
Yeah.
I did like the trailer for Suicide Squad, but that said, I did feel that same Guardians of the Galaxy
Mhm.
vibe. Let's play a catchy fucking song that everyone knows, and...
They're just having fun.
Yeah.
Just bad guys having fun.
We're bad guys.
It's what we do. Actually,
Well, that's kind of how I felt about the Star Trek trailer when it came out.
Sabotage!
It was just this light-hearted Star Trek, like we're in space, woo.
Okay, but
but does it have to be sabotage?
Sabotage. Well, yeah, it does because of the first movie.
Yeah.
The first movie.
But I don't know if they did that on purpose or not.
Oh, they totally did. They
Did
of course they use sabotage. That's their song for
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah, I guess. Why?
Why? Why
It
did
has
Beastie
nothing
Boys?
to do with Star Trek.
I don't
really.
know why some of my favorite bands cover that song too.
I just don't understand the Beastie Boys and people loving them.
I like
I
the
don't
Beastie
either.
Boys. But I don't love them.
It's just
And
kind of annoying.
I've never owned a CD of theirs. So
Remember
it's
that time when we were like, man, Beastie Boys suck, and you're all like, yeah, watch this video that's going to convince you
It's like
otherwise.
And it had all
15-minute
these
song.
celebrities in it,
And
and
it
they were
had-
peeing on each other.
Nothing to do with Beastie Boys except some of the music.
Yeah.
And then the Beastie Boys showed up, but
Yeah, you sure justified to us.
that 15-minute waste of... It was fun, though. It was fun.
Yeah, it
It was good comedians. I'm just bugging you.
Yeah, well,
Whoa, don't need to get salty about it.
Yeah, Mark.
Batman versus
I
Superman.
didn't say anything. Just took it.
Like Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad go for this gritty stuff, but like that's the thing. How gritty can they be when they're not rated R?
Well, when gritty's just the norm now, being gritty is to not be
But
gritty.
gritty isn't necessarily R-rated. Look at the Batman movies. They were gritty and realistic, but they weren't R-rated.
I think
They
they
were
were
just
14A.
kind of-
Yeah. Although in Canada they were probably E for everyone. Video game rating system.
A for adults. What?
No. X-rated. Ugh.
I could watch an X-rated.
Batman? Or
Batman.
Catwoman? Ooh.
Let me show you my Batmobile. It's in my pants.
You have a microscope?
Riddle me.
Burn.
Riddle me this boner. Anyway,
What?
Good one.
I did it.
Oh,
But yeah,
God.
no, like I do understand that gritty stuff.
Well, there's a big difference between having something that's just gritty and like kind of dark, but then actually having dark content
Yeah.
that's sort of more for mature audiences, right?
I hear the argument that Superman isn't supposed to be gritty. Superman's supposed to be heroic. Batman can be gritty because Batman wasn't always gritty. Look at when he was first made. Look at Adam West.
Yeah.
Na 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 na. Pow!
Yeah, no.
It's ridiculous.
Then
they made it gritty.
yeah, but even then, like, yeah, I do see that they can circumvent the whole like swearing and like the blood and stuff like that because they don't need to.
Batman doesn't kill people. Superman doesn't kill people. That's easy. GG.
Yep.
No problem. Although I've played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and if he doesn't kill those people that he drumps off those
He's
buildings,
sick.
holy fuck!
I think they have like fates much worse than death.
God, they're paralyzed. Then they're on the brink of death. They're in comas. That's pretty dick move.
Batman doesn't cook, but he sure made a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
Cuckoo.
I don't know. Suicide Squad.
What are you more excited for? Suicide Squad or Batman's? These Superman's.
I'm actually a little bit more excited for Batman versus Superman because I just care about like Batman.
I honestly don't want
Yes.
to go see them in theaters. I know I'm going to, but I don't want to give them my money.
And Suicide Squad, I'm most curious about the Joker and Harley Quinn and the way if they have chemistry and that sort of thing is kind of
Because
interesting.
there's that scene in the trailer where
Dives
they
in.
dive,
To get her?
Pull her out of the pool.
and I think that's when she becomes
Harley?
Harley Quinn's elf.
Oh, did we
Or
know the
Quinn.
villain in Suicide Squad?
No.
Because I have an idea.
Do you have an idea?
Tattoo Man.
Tattoo Man?
Tattoo Man. Joker. No, there's a villain called Tattoo Man, where he there's a few different incarnations of him, but he got tattoos all over himself, and he can bring them to life.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's.
Was
I've
he
heard
one of the
that.
Suicide Squad? Did
They
they show him in the trailer?
Yeah, what they showed in the trailer, which is why it's leading me to think that, is when the train hits that thing in the tracks,
And then the thing's
and
just standing
it
there.
looks like Tattoo Man's like projections of his tattoos.
Does he have like dark circles around his eyes? And there's one scene where it get fired. or
No,
is that
that's
another guy?
Diablo, El Diablo or something.
No.
That's a character of the Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
He's the villain, Tattoo Man in this, I think.
Huh.
And yeah, like you see when he gets hit by the train, there's the green projections off of him, and it looks very similar to how they show him in the comics.
It really will be like Guardians of the Galaxy in the sense that they're bringing characters in that nobody's really heard of as
And
far as mainstream
Don't seem like they
audiences.
work
Yeah, it's
together.
like a beeline of like
Of the
villains.
superhero.
Except
But again-
Harley. Harley's
Yeah.
the
That's true, yeah.
I will say DC knows that its villains are 1,000 times better than
Its heroes.
like Marvel
Oh, yeah.
movies, Marvel movie villains, and its heroes, I guess.
has Marvel movies, have they yet had an interesting villain?
They had Loki.
Loki's probably been the best, but
He's the only recurring one.
Yeah,
he's the only one that you really kind of see his backstory and sort of understand his motives.
because he's like brother.
But that's
Thor,
probably
that's
part of
pretty
that is
much it.
because he's been in like 4 of the movies.
But yeah,
That's
like they're all throwaway.
every one of them.
Every single
Like-
one of them.
Jebediah in Iron Man,
Mhm.
and then Hulk had Abomination. Then
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 had Whiplash, and then
Who was a big throwaway.
huge throwaway. Thor had the Robot Bro.
Oh, okay. And Thor 2 had the
The random Dark Elf.
dude
Captain America had Red Skull, who
who
vanished. That could have been a compelling villain, but gone.
I'm
Hugo
curious.
Weaving also
didn't wanna do
said
it.
that he doesn't want to do it anymore.
He doesn't want to do it, but he's under contract for 2 more, so they could still bring him back
Interesting.
because really his so-called death was kind of ambiguous.
Iron Man 3 had the Mandarin, sort of. Cap 2
Was
Bucky.
but well, yeah, that'll
Hydra.
Yeah, see, but then they're gonna turn him into and that okay, and that's kind of my gripe with Marvel villains is that the good ones, the ones that are memorable, end up being good or like helping out here and there. Like Loki isn't all bad.
I'm okay with moral ambiguity, though. A one-note character, I'm always evil
Yeah.
for the sake of being evil, is boring.
But
Yeah, it's
they
true.
always like team up with the superheroes. I'd rather see like a villain who.
Oh, like Thanos. Thanos
Thanos,
is gonna,
yeah, he's the big villain.
So, I mean,
Oh God, I really hope they don't fucking throw him away. I mean, he is getting 2 movies.
the Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But,
But I think DC has a lot more to work with in terms of villains.
well, they have Joker, which is everyone knows Joker.
Probably the most famous comic book
And
villain
then
for sure.
second would be like Lex Luthor,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. That
It'd be
just
cool if
normal
the
guys-
Marvel
Scarecrow.
heroes could fight the DC villains. I wonder who would win that.
DC villains because they're overpowered. Some of them. Some of them are very overpowered, like Darkseid and shit like that.
Right. But I don't think we'll ever see a
Sinestro
crossover
Corps.
like that. I hope one day we get to see an Avengers X-Men crossover, but as long as both studios are making ridiculous money, that will never happen.
No, that just won't happen at this point.
Not with these universes.
No, they have to reboot everything so they can start with mutants.
Yeah.
Since you can't use.
They're
the
just
word
like, what?
mutant.
You won't give us X-Men? Fine, we'll use Inhumans.
Speaking of X-Men, did you hear that the last Wolverine might be rated R?
Yes.
Should be. All Wolverine things should be rated R.
And it's his last one.
And it's his
Better.
last one too, so might as well give him a good finish by making
Old Man
him a rated
Logan
R.
is what I think. They're
Yeah.
going with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Which would be sweet. They're also bringing back a whole bunch of stuff that, like Spawn.
Can't wait for that. I like Spawn. I don't know.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't seem to like Spawn, but I think as far as like the original comic, like the visual art style, and that in the HBO show, fucking awesome. And then there was the movie.
It's really about finding the audience for it, right? I think now there might be more of an audience. Now that we're seeing more comic book adaptations.
and like the gritty kind of like anti-heroes that we're seeing. 'Cause Suicide Squad is entirely anti-hero.
And I don't know if it's a generational thing that, you know, now we've got all these adults who are still into a lot of comic book sort of related stuff. And that's how they're able to get these audiences. That's probably part of it.
Well, think
Doesn't
about
hurt.
if you think about it, like just a bunch of you keep getting rebellious characters. Like Guardians of the Galaxy had like all of these like characters who didn't give a shit, and they were just like doing their own thing and being rude and drunk, and they saved the day. Now you have that with like Suicide Squad. So yeah, I completely agree that Spawn is like It's the right time to come out for a Spawn movie.
Yeah, I think, like we mentioned before about marketing, I think that would go a long way because not a lot of people are familiar with Spawn. He's not really important. He's not really
know about Spawn. It's
he
just
doesn't have
nothing...
video games, and
He does have video
He
games.
does have video
He
Recently?
has a bunch of video games.
Recently?
The last video game I think came out in like 2006 or something like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think that if you see Spawn, you'd be like, that's Spawn. You can identify.
Yeah, like I
him.
haven't seen the movie or played any of the video games.
But
or
if
movies,
you
rather.
saw like,
But if I
punk,
saw
you'd
him, I'd be
"Oh,
like, okay,
that's Spawn."
That's true. And I think he was in was it one of the Soul Calibur games?
Yes, Soul Calibur 2. He was on the Xbox version, and he was my personal
Which
favorite
one?
character to play.
I just had GameCube version, so I just had Link.
Yeah.
Link is good, but who had the fucking PlayStation 2 version who got shitty Tekken guy with fists?
Right.
Just punching people. God, blue earns.
Spawn's pretty cool.
Spawn had
He
his
seems
axe,
really
he had
cool.
his chains. Really cool character.
Yeah, and I mean, he'll benefit from Deadpool
R
being
rating.
R and then being successful.
Very different feel. That's the only thing I'd be worried about is some studios are going to take that fun Deadpool feel, maybe, and put it to like darker shows.
But
Or
God, it's not Seth MacFarlane. Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane said that he personally wrote the entire script and it's done, and now he's in talks to getting it made for sure. But if like I'm starting to think, is like the movie's universe kind of switching its way from like kind of scary, gritty to like just like horror now?
What do you mean?
What universe?
Well, like if you think about it, like Suicide Squad is a little like if you watch the trailer, especially with not the Scarlet Witch,
The possessed lady.
yeah,
I don't know her name.
God, I can't remember her character name. Doesn't matter. They did a little bit of that like kind of like a horror feel to it.
I think that's her character though.
They could have, but it's the whole movie is still toned to be looks kind of just fun, a little more lighthearted.
But the first trailer, I didn't get lighthearted. The
No,
teaser,
not the first
and
trailer
then the
for sure.
second one, they went full like James Gunn on it.
Yeah, that's
So
true. It's kind of hard to say.
It's very bouncy tonality, which is one thing that I'm like kind of worried about. I mean, they're crazy, yeah, and I guess like Harley would be weird and over the top eccentric, but Deadshot and like all these other characters, I don't know if that's going to reflect, because Deadshot to me seems like pure business, get shit done kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not like stupid like Drax was.
Right.
Still like get shit done, and I just don't know how well that chemistry will work and what tone you'll get out of it.
Yeah, I'm also thinking with all these superhero movies, like their villains are mostly sometimes monsters, right? They're supposed to be scary and whatnot.
Like
maybe
Solomon
that's-
Grundy and shit like that.
Yeah, maybe that's why like you're starting to see Universal try to come out with their like Universal Monsters movies.
Well, we were kind of talking before about how the Universal monster movies were the first cinematic universe.
They were the Marvel
Really?
before Marvel.
Because that like everyone talks about how Marvel was the first to kind of make a cinematic universe, tie all these movies together, but monster movies have been doing it for years.
yeah,
Since
Even, like,
1931, baby.
Like Godzilla movies, all those too. There's tie-ins there. There's
yeah, with
cinematic
Mothra
universes.
and like
Gamora.
Gamora.
Not
Gamora
Gamora.
only.
Gamora's never met Godzilla.
Okay.
No.
Gamora's its own thing. Don't you worry about Gamora.
They've had all kinds of
But
crossovers
they've had,
and stuff though.
the difference between the cinematic universes and Marvel's cinematic universe is that all of those people came together in the Avengers. That's what makes it huge. You don't see a movie where Dracula, Godzilla, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Invisible Man all go play poker. It just go for shawarma.
That sounds awesome.
It does sound amazing, right? But
I'd be so down
that
for
they
that.
just didn't do that because Karloff played all the characters, so it didn't really work out.
I guess it's
Boris
because
Karloff.
What a
most
hero.
studios can't
Vincent
make
Price.
that sort of plan and commitment like Marvel was able to.
Because of Disney backing.
Yeah, like to be able to plan for that many movies, they needed a lot of money.
And then once they hit gold with Iron Man, they just ran with it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
If Iron Man wasn't successful, they would have been done. Disney would have probably dropped that like a rock.
And
Okay.
they've tried collaboration movies like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but without any sort of setup, it just feels really forced.
It doesn't make
Having a bunch
sense.
of characters together that shouldn't be together.
Well, like, it's also the approach of League of Extraordinary, or the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Extraordinary?
I can't even fucking talk.
Androgynous gentlemen.
Because that was based off a graphic novel by Alan Moore. So like, and they were already there. It's like these like iconic characters from different novels put into one team, right? It makes sense to have them all like immediately meet instead of kind of having their own movies.
Yeah, if the film was good.
Yeah.
And if, I don't know, I think you should still provide some sort of understanding for characters for people that aren't familiar with necessarily all of the... I know that they're typically very, very popular. Who made up the League? Who do we have?
We had Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Nemo. Captain
Yeah,
Nemo.
Captain Nemo.
Invisible Man.
Invisible Man, yeah.
Who was Sean Connery's character?
Alan Quartermain?
That sounds close.
Pretty sure.
I think it was Quartermain? Okay. And then his apprentice, Tom Sawyer.
Yeah. Well, okay, Tom Sawyer was added in the movie. He's actually not at all in the graphic
Okay,
novels.
I didn't know that.
Because they wanted because Quartermain's an old British dude, and they didn't really have an American character, and like, who best to put in than Tom Sawyer, right?
Yeah, and then they had Vampire Chick.
Yeah, and Dracula.
And what?
And Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dorian Gray is not in the graphic novels either.
Oh.
Huh.
And as far as Dorian Gray,
Actually,
I didn't know who
be.
the fuck Dorian
He
Gray
might be
was until I read Dorian Gray.
Yeah, where did he come from? I know nothing about
Dorian Gray. He has
Penny
like a book?
Dreadfuls.
Was it a
It's
novel?
It's a novel.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they used to hand out little tiny horror books back in the day with like you got Dracula was originally one of them, Frankenstein. Yeah, Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray's his own novel.
Wolfman.
Wolfman, yeah.
Do you think Universal Studios will be able to bring those monster movies in and appeal to audiences?
Well, if
that's my one big concern with it is it's like, do they go the like how do you tone?
They're
that
going the
type of
superhero
horror?
approach. Look at Dracula Untold. I didn't see it, but everything I gathered from it is it's not a horror movie. It's an action adventure movie, like Clash of the Titans.
Is that how I, Frankenstein was? I didn't see that.
I didn't see that one either,
No.
but I just...
That's kind of what it looked
I
like.
want horror movie franchise.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Now you said there's a couple confirmed
Yes.
for next year.
I don't know about... I think they got some of them got pushed back, but The Mummy, which was gonna star Tom Cruise, and The Invisible Man got Johnny Depp to play as the Invisible Man.
Right.
That's confirmed. And Swamp
Thing.
Yeah,
Swamp Thing?
Swamp Bro is gonna be his own movie, and then something else got pushed back. I'm honestly, if Dracula Untold, apparently the ending of it is supposed to be what's going to introduce people into their cinematic universe.
But no one went to see that because it was marketed
poorly.
And it didn't look good.
Well, Dracula too. There's been so many portrayals of him that it's kind of like people think they've already seen it already. They need to do a better job of showing it in a way that people aren't familiar with.
But if they do that, they're going to stray too far from the Dracula story, and then you're going to be like, what the fuck am I watching?
Maybe Dracula isn't the first one to start with.
Well, yeah, well, the reason they go with Dracula is the creature from the Black Lagoon is such a fucking arbitrary...
It's true.
Plus, when they originally started their monster universe, Dracula was the first one. So it kind of makes sense to have that same beat, but...
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get that sort of audience. I think they've got a real challenge.
Was Victor Frankenstein a Universal movie?
I don't know. You'd think it would have to be, but it wasn't part of the... When I looked it up, it wasn't part of their cinematic universe.
Yeah, see, and my biggest concern with them doing Universal Monsters is that they'll do it the fucking Van Helsing approach with Hugh Jackman. Yeah, Hugh Jackman was Van Helsing.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, where it's not horror, it's literally just
Campy.
gothic action.
Yeah.
Gothic superhero action.
And that's fun. That shouldn't be your universal horror movies. It shouldn't be an action movie. It should be horror. I know that's difficult to understand.
Maybe it is just because studios have trouble taking that risk of going full horror.
You don't want to put money into a horror movie. Horror movies are notorious for getting shit off the budget.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they
don't get
super
return.
easy to make.
You don't get your return on your investment unless you're making it for $10,000 because it's super niche. How many people go see horror movies? You go see it at Halloween. Done. Right?
Yeah.
For most audience goers, you see a Paranormal Activity movie a year because you're not going to go see the January ones because those are always trash.
And a lot of horror movies haven't done well in theaters, but garnered a cult following, like we talked about The Thing before, and how that happened with that movie. And that's, I think, true for a lot of those horror movies, is people don't go see them in theaters, and then they bomb, so they can't make more.
I'm kind of curious to see how much The Witch makes in the box office. I know it's not, like, really horror.
It's a Sundance movie, so horror is a Sundance movie.
But I wonder how much it'll make.
I was surprised by how widespread the release was.
Yeah,
because
that's exactly what I thought.
We thought it would be very limited release, especially here in Canada, but
considering the style.
Then we found out it had like tons of showtimes in Cineplex theaters, which is strange for that type of movie.
I think it's because when it won Sundance, for best film.
Yeah.
They like one of the prizes is like a shit ton of money to do.
Well, it's not like Cineplex has much else to show right now.
The problem which is going to have is it's coming out at the same time as Deadpool. And honestly, what would you, just as a general audience member who...
Oh, hands down, I'd go see Deadpool.
You go see Deadpool before you see The Witch, right? That's not fair. Even you probably go see it fucking twice as opposed to going to see The Witch.
Because The Witch is literally just a super slow burn.
It's a time period.
Most people hate. Most people can't sit and watch a slow-paced movie like that. They just find it boring, whether there's a deeper meaning to it or not.
Some movies, you can do slow burn right, where it builds tension and atmosphere and makes you invested, but you can also do slow movies wrong. Drive!
Yes.
And make it shitty.
Somebody explained it to me as it's like just a period piece version of The Shining.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna be going to see that one
very soon.
Come Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We get half off and go see that motherfucker.
Fuck yeah,
definitely.
But hopefully the Universal Monsters does it right. But I'm also kind of hoping that the It remake, which they said is going to be rated R, is going to get it right as well.
Are they going to release that to theaters though?
They will.
Or is it going to go straight to the TVCs?
No, it's not going to be the Tim. It's not going to be the Tim Curry version.
Which was amazing though.
Like,
Tim Curry, hilarious.
If you really think about it, if you watch it now, you won't believe that it was just a direct-to-TV movie.
It feels like a normal release at the time because it sucked.
Yeah, and Hellraiser is going to be remade too.
They're doing a few remakes and trying to redo it, and I hope that they reach more audiences, and then those original good movies will get some viewership that they deserve. Like Hellraiser's a great movie.
Yeah,
it's creepy as fuck, and it's
something that might be something that's noticeable. Like I haven't seen Hellraiser, but you guys were talking about Hellraiser, and I was like, I don't know what that is. But after seeing a picture, I was like, oh, that guy.
Pinhead. Yeah. Everyone knows Pinhead, but they don't know Hellraiser.
Right.
Because Pinhead is such an iconic character, and he's so visually like, oh, I've seen him. Even if you've only seen him in Cabin in the Woods. Everyone's seen him, everyone's seen Jason, everyone's seen
Freddy.
Myers, everyone's seen Freddy. Everyone knows Pennywise.
Everyone knows Pennywise.
They don't know his name's Pennywise.
Yeah, but a scary clown.
They know if they think
with red balloon.
Done. That's
And I guess those would be a little bit easier to market because they've already been established as like pure like horror icons, right?
Those might be okay as long as they're not done by the same guys, the Platinum Dune guys, who did the remakes of Nightmare on Elm Street and like all those really, really bad horror movie remakes.
Oh god, Didn't Michael Bay do a Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Ugh.
Why?
Were there explosions in that one?
Yeah, probably
Of course.
everywhere. Jason transformed into a car.
The explosions
drove off.
The explosions were happening in the teens' pants.
Ooh, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pants.
Kill me.
No, you're excited for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You were like,
You said
Krang, penis.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, no.
Ah!
I
So hard.
I did get rock hard.
You got Rocksteady.
I guess my dick is rock ready.
Cricket. You're gonna have to edit that in.
Yeah, I'll throw in some
tumbleweed.
crickets. Perfect, I'll use that.
Cricket.
No,
Cricket.
I'm glad Deadpool did good. Gave
us hope for the future.
Gave us a hope for rated R movies for the future.
All we're gonna get is the same thing now forever. Just R-rated movies. Just that.
I hope studios don't fuck it up by being like, well, if Deadpool can break the fourth wall, let's just throw characters that shouldn't be able to break the fourth wall.
Although they didn't explain Deadpool breaking the fourth wall.
That's okay. So
that bugged me.
Quick review for me, I guess.
Watch the Going Nowhere Fast and you'll see Mark's quick review.
Until then. No, enemies had...
Ajax sucked.
Yeah.
Angel, the throwaway.
Well, they're throwaway, but they had abilities that they didn't talk about, and they had abilities that they
It was okay.
And
It
they
was
talked
fine.
about abilities that they didn't have.
Oh, I have super fast reflexes. Allow me to never demonstrate that for you ever. Super strength.
Yeah, everybody just has super strength now. It's such just a generic superpower that it's like, we don't even have to mention it. If you have mutant genetics, you just get stronger. It's just how it works, apparently.
But I agree. When are we going to see a superhero movie where the superhero gets powers, but he's fat and lazy, so he has to work out to become shredded instead of being immediately shredded?
We kind of got something like that, a shitty superhero, Hancock, where Will Smith's just a drunkard and doesn't actually want to fight crime, and then when he does, he just wrecks city blocks, and then they're like, dude, you can't do that.
Hancock was a good movie.
Or Chronicle, kids who don't know what they're doing with superpowers.
And then turn out to be just go full villain mode.
Yeah.
I like Chronicle. It's too bad what happened to him.
Yeah.
It sucks that he got fucked with Lance Forster.
Yeah, because some of it, you can tell, the editing was done by a bunch of different people. And reshoots, especially with Susan Storm, or whatever. She's got a wig on, in different scenes, but they're, not in order of, her wig. So some it'll be like, oh, hey, look, she's got natural hair, and the other one's like, oh, okay.
Hyper wig mode.
It's a wig. Kirsten wig.
Yeah, I don't plan on seeing that movie anytime soon.
We could watch it and make fun of it.
Riff track.
Just riff tracks for days. I never actually.
We just hate a lot of movies now.
I am just jaded.
The more movies we watch, the...
Welcome to Going Nowhere, where we bitch and complain for an hour
about the things that we loved and have gone to shit.
Pretty much.
Deadpool was a good movie, but they fucked up everything.
Well, I think you're allowed fair points of criticism for things that you like. Like Ocarina of Time is an amazing game. There are things that I don't like about it.
Oh, yeah. Lots of things.
You're not allowed.
I can't think of anything I don't like about it.
Navi.
It's so amazing.
Navi.
No, look. Listen!
Oh, God.
Peak! Audio spike! Listen!
Good job.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're always going to be able to find criticisms.
That doesn't necessarily take away from it as long as you can still appreciate.
As long as the experience was enjoyable, I think. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many movies that we're able to appreciate, but we don't enjoy, and if we don't enjoy it, what's the fucking point?
Well, then that's when you can criticize for the funds.
Yeah.
Deadpool, you can criticize the villains, For me, it didn't detract from the movie.
No, and that's the thing. They're throwaway villains because they're throwaway villains. You're the first movie like that, especially with the studio kind of being iffy about it. You want to introduce the character, no matter what, and you want to give the character as much screen time as you possibly can. And with Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool both being like people who really like limelight, they're
I was surprised by his girlfriend Vanessa, and in like the trailer, she had like a line saying, "I've played a lot of roles, but damsel in distress isn't one of them." And then she didn't do anything in the movie
At all. Well,
she was literally a damsel in distress. So that kind of confused me. I thought she was gonna end up getting powers for whatever reason.
I thought she was gonna die, and that was what was gonna make Deadpool insane.
Get all the voices in his head.
Get the voices, and
it was a very, very happy ending.
For that, I didn't understand why it was so happy. That's that, and the fact that like they don't explain how he breaks fourth wall.
Yeah, because there's that one part in the movie where I thought he was gonna do it, where he talks to the audience, and then Colossus is like, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm talking to them."
Not talking to you. I'm talking to
them.
them.
And then he just doesn't even. They're like, "Oh, well, clearly he's insane." They just don't really address it.
They might do it in the. It's a lot to introduce to, right? You know, a lot of a lot of just general moviegoers.
I think I'll be excited for a sequel to see if they can, address that sort of stuff.
They had the perfect time to address it when he was stuck inside the suffocation chamber. He was going crazy or something, and then like when he mutated, he snapped. Or something.
When the movie went all horror.
Yeah,
I'm excited
to
see,
pretty good.
Because what's gonna happen is in the sequel to Deadpool, they're gonna get an introduction where Deadpool, just like every comic book after the first issue, kind of recaps the last one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that if they do that.
I don't know enough about Deadpool's arcs except for like when Deadpool fights other Deadpools.
Oh, connected to the Universal monsters, Deadpool steals Dracula's to-be wife.
What happens?
And then they get married.
Yeah, of course.
And they have to do all kinds of crazy shit because they can.
And now he bangs her.
Does he wear the suit? Because that mug.
I'm excited to see if they throw in death as well.
They haven't yet, and they should have for Thanos. In Marvel. Never mind. Like, because who has the rights to death?
Yeah, that's kind of.
Is that Marvel or is that
kind of
Fox?
What I'm wondering. Like, is there a rights claim?
I have no idea the origin, like where he first came from.
Death?
Yeah.
She. She's death. She's literally death.
She's death.
As soon as you die, you meet death, and Deadpool. The reason why Deadpool
doesn't die
is because he has sex with death,
and
then Thanos gets jealous because they had a baby together or something like that.
Thanos loves death.
Yeah,
and he gets the gauntlets, the Infinity Stones
for her.
So he's gonna kill the universe.
Yeah.
So woo death.
Yeah. So and then Thanos does a trick where Deadpool just can't die, so he never meets death again. And that explains further on why he can't die.
Sounds like either studio could probably get rights at this point.
Yeah,
but
doesn't seem like a character they'd be clamoring over.
She is the reason though why Thanos is Thanos.
Yeah, but they could take it in a different direction if they feel that that's not motive enough.
That's my gripe with Thanos in the Marvel universe right now is that
he has no motivation.
It literally, the first time you get introduced to him, he's like, fucking heroes! And then the next time you see him going, fucking heroes! And then the third time you see him, he's like, I'll do it myself. And there's
what are you doing yourself?
What?
You've done nothing.
They've had a lot of opportunity to build him up a little bit, give him kind of a bit of an origin, but
it's probably trying to get Josh Brolin in, because he's busy doing other stuff for some reason.
Yeah, but we'll see if they actually touch on him, or if he's just going to be evil for the sake of evil.
I don't like that. That's a boring motivation. At least when he's in love with death, it's nothing personal at that point. He's doing his own thing, and it has nothing to do with the Avengers. And it just happens to be they're the ones.
That's what makes some of the best villains.
Yeah, it's just coincidental, and then now it becomes personal.
is like right now. All you know is that he hates the Avengers and wants to kill them
And he's
all.
doing it himself.
Yeah.
Why though? The only thing that happened is he sent Loki to Earth.
Like, why does
with
he even
the
care about
Infinity
her?
Gem, and like, why?
Yeah, if you're trying to collect the gems, why
Why did he
give
give one to
away?
Loki?
It makes no sense.
And then why
Again,
Loki gave it to the Avengers?
DC villains so much better.
The DC villains are fantastic, but that's because their heroes are boring as shit. Batman is a boring hero.
Yeah,
He's not interesting.
I want to see a rated R Moon Knight film. That would get me so
Moist.
Rock steady.
so moist.
Oh.
Just Marvel's version of Batman, but with split personality disorder and who kills people.
Deadpool.
That's Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Nobody knows Moon Knight.
Yeah, I don't know Moon Knight.
Uh,
'Cause he sounds exactly like Wade Wilson being Slade Wilson, and that's just the Batman equivalent. That's
just-
Deadpool. That
it's just
sounds
so good.
sounds stupid, but hilarious and awesome.
Best hero.
Can people's parents stop dying if you're a superhero? And just not have dead parents?
Another thing that, in the Batman vs Superman trailer that just came out, they showed like a slow motion shot of a pistol with a bullet, and it looks like Zack Snyder's traditional
over the top 300.
kind of flashback of like, because he likes to do flashbacks that are super slow motion for some stupid reason, and I think they're gonna do like a quick scene of like Batman's.
They
parents
showed it
dying.
in the first trailer. The
Did they?
first trailer had his parents getting killed.
Can we stop? Can we? We
Get
get
it.
it. We fucking get it.
And especially since this is an older Batman. Like,
Yeah, but-
he has other motivations now.
Yeah, but I like
No, he doesn't.
every single goddamn Batman thing that I've ever fucking watched is always
His origin story.
my parents died.
Money.
Get over it. Get over it, man.
Yeah.
Man. Other
Gadgets.
people's parents have died.
Literally the worst person to ever get over anything.
Just, dude, it sucks. I know, man, but fucking stop being a bitch. Get about your day. You rich bastard.
We'll see how they portray that, if it's the same as every other parents dying scene.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Scarecrow will show up, and that's why he'll have a vision.
Can we
can
stop
stuff
throwing
more
fucking
things
people
in.
into that movie?
Isn't Jeffrey Dean Morgan
The comedian?
Isn't he the dad? Isn't he Bruce's dad?
No, he's Negan.
Yeah.
I actually don't know.
But
Maybe.
it seems like
the comedian?
why
No,
even
it has
why
nothing-
even
It has nothing to do. Like
No,
the
no,
Watchmen
no.
universe?
Oh. You misunderstood.
Oh, okay.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the actor,
Yeah.
the comedian,
Okay.
is also Negan.
Oh,
and is
really?
potentially playing that dad.
I just can't remember Bruce's dad's name, but
Oh, I thought he was saying literally the comedian.
No.
is Bruce
No.
Wayne's dad, and I was like,
No,
what the
that's
fuck is
ridiculous.
wrong?
no. But he why even have an actor like that in a role where he just gets shot? Like he's probably only gonna be on screen for like a minute.
Yeah, just get some random asshole you can find on the street. Go,
Unless,
oh, you shot me."
unless he does unless it's like Batman flashbacks of Pa Kent.
Oh god.
Maybe Pa Kent and Pa Wayne are bros.
Ken Skizzer.
Never do things that can help people. Be an asshole all your life like me.
Let's hold back our kids.
I know you can save the dog in me, but don't.
Instead of that,
Instead
we'll
of that,
die.
I'm gonna run into a tornado like a fucking retard.
Oh.
No, he just stood there and held out his hand.
Yeah, and then got shit on for no reason. I hated that part. Pa Kent was the worst. Everything else about that movie I didn't hate. But that, when he got sucked up by the tornado, and when he told him, should you have let those kids die? Definitely.
Maybe.
You're like, no, you fuck.
So I guess moral of this episode is Deadpool was good.
Is that a moral?
No.
Do you know what
Or is that a
morals
summary?
are?
Summary of this episode.
No moral.
The moral of this episode is don't let Mark do morals. No good.
What did we learn today, kids?
Deadpool's out.
Yeah.
Good, go see it.
Deadpool was good. Universal Monsters,
Other thing,
maybe.
Batman vs Superman, someone got fired for one of the trailers. New guy's way better because he knows what happened to the last guy.
And that movie's coming out soon. Next month.
Is it March?
Yeah.
Is there anything competing with it at that time?
In March, no?
So it's sort of Deadpool, Then Batman v Superman in March, and then is there
But
anything
in May, no, I don't think anything in
April's-
April. In May we have Civil War and X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, good
competing.
fucking luck, X-Men.
They're only like 2 weeks apart, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's weird, huh? You'd think DC would have picked a different month.
DC was originally slated to go against Captain, but was like, oh no,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that.
But
Yeah,
now
I
they're being
remember that.
ballsy. They're like, we can do it. Fuck you.
No, you can't, Fox. Although Fox is going to get a good shot in the arm with Deadpool for sure.
I think so.
But
Which is a good thing and is also a bad thing.
just a bad thing.
Because
I'm
I
not
wish
interested in
Fox would just give the rights back to Marvel.
They won't. I hope they give Fantastic Four back so we can get Galactus. That's it. They
That'd be
can
cool.
fucking keep X-Men all they want. As soon as
As
Hugh
long as
Jack-
they don't do Marvel can have those properties just because of Galactus.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about Fantastic Four at all. But I want Galactus to be eating motherfucking planets. And I want what comes after you kill Galactus. I want there to be a bigger threat beyond Thanos. Because Thanos is interesting and all, but Galactus eats motherfucking planets. Like, that's badass.
Motherfucking pen.
Motherfucking
Motherfucking
planets.
planets.
Motherfucking planets. He's tired of these motherfucking
It's because
planets.
if he doesn't,
Bad things
then
happen.
bad things happen. There you go, Marvel. You get a good character or villain who has.
Conflicting, he has to make his choice.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
He's always hungry.
Hopefully Thanos just kills off like half the Avengers.
Well, apparently in an Infinity Wars they have 60 superheroes.
64 or something ridiculous like that. I don't know if they're superheroes, if they're just going to be named characters. Because we haven't met that many fucking superheroes. Maybe it'll be Death. Maybe Death will
We've
be
got
the first
what,
sequence.
maybe 15 in Civil War, named superheroes.
4 on each side, right? Because there's just equal sides. There's Bucky, Captain America, Iron Man, Ant-Man, and
Anthony
Black
Mackie
Panther,
may have
yeah.
spoiled the fact that the Hulk is in Civil War.
why is that spoiling a surprise?
No, well,
Character.
it's
He's not
because
supposed to be in it.
they were talking about Mark Ruffalo was like, oh, I'm so excited about Civil War. The team just got bigger, and then he came out with another Twitter saying, no, I'm not in Civil War, and then studios were like, yeah, no, he's not in it at all, and now people are kind of saying here and there that, or they listed him as oh, Civil War's great, you get this and this actor and Mark Ruffalo, and so it may have leaked that he might be in it.
But
But
then
then
he is. What do you fucking do?
well, this is the link to it. I have a feeling that maybe the Hulk goes rampage at the end of the movie,
Send him
and
into
then
space.
they send him into space,
That's what gets them
And
all
then-
united again.
and then that's why in Thor Ragnarok, which is next, you
We get Planet Hulk.
you get Planet Hulk.
Thor isn't in Civil War, right?
No.
Because he's too OP.
Yeah,
But so's fucking Vision.
yeah.
Vision's gonna wreck everyone.
And Scarlet Witch.
That's true. Scarlet Witch.
And I think that Vision and Scarlet
Will
Witch
be
will
there.
keep each other occupied,
While
while the less interesting superheroes duke it out.
slap each other, silly,
Yeah.
wet noodles.
By the poolside.
yeah,
Just be having a good old pool party.
right?
Chicken fights.
No, stop!
Hey,
Ow!
hey, Bucky, you want the last chicken burger? Tony Stark, I want that fucking chicken burger.
Fight! Civil War. Dun, dun, dun. That's pretty ridiculous. And we'll see. The Marvel Universe will go forever until they're like, oh, we fucked up. So Scarlet Witch just wipe out everything.
Yeah,
Reset.
and then reset it.
I would like to see people take over the mantle of Iron Man. Of people, because they're gonna spoiler, Captain's gonna die. Shock and awe. It's a Captain movie. Captain's gonna die.
It's
in
the
war.
third one.
It's the third one, and in the
Better
books
fucking
he
die.
dies.
I'll be pissed off.
And
And then
Chris Evans
Bucky-
doesn't want to do anything. Bucky's gonna take it.
Bucky takes over.
I want to see people take over the roles for people. Like Thor stops being Thor. There's a lady Thor now.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Spider-Man, when he inevitably joins, get killed and be replaced by Black Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Just keep it constantly evolving and get different characters with different motivations and how they behave in different situations.
Yeah.
And yeah, what they do in those roles and how they deal with public appearance and all those sorts
Everything
of things.
differently. And you can have a different Iron Man because it's a fucking suit. As much as Tony Stark, you can't replace Tony Stark. because Robert Downey Jr. embodies
Yes.
Tony Stark. But you can have someone else take the suit. War Machine can be the new Iron Man if Iron Man ever died.
Yeah. Iron Patriot.
I found out that the reason why Terrence Howard wasn't
Too much money?
No. Well, he was asking to be paid more than Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
in Iron Man 1. And
Oh.
Robert Downey Jr. didn't get along with him at all, so Robert Downey Jr. told the studio, I am Iron Man, you're not getting Terrence Howard, so Terrence Howard got kicked off.
That was a big switch away from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
But
Fine.
Don Cheadle is
John Cheadle.
Captain Planet.
Why?
It's awesome. College Humor did a Captain Planet thing. Anyway, Don Cheadle is awesome.
He is. I like Don Cheadle. He's a good actor in general. So.
I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
Hotel Rwanda.
I don't even,
Crash?
yeah, actually. I haven't seen Hotel Rwanda since
Mandatory.
mandatory high school viewing.
Yeah.
He was in that Will Ferrell movie.
Step Brothers.
No, the basketball one.
Oh, Anchorman.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
It was too easy, Johnny. You gotta.
He gets shot. In the arm.
For being a giant turkey.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we have for today.
thanks for listening, guys.
Check us out on Facebook, website, and iTunes. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
We will be uploading every Monday except for last Monday.
Which we took our 10-episode hiatus. Maybe. No, this is we're gonna go with that.
Hiatus? Well, only Craig will be upset.
We took a break. But join us next week where we will for sure have another podcast.
Don't make promises.
And until
For
next
sure. I promise.
We can't now, just for lulls. But I guess whatever. Until next time.
We're
going nowhere.
Probably not gonna get the next one. Just don't.
Cock ready?
What? I guess it was better than whatever the fuck sound you made in the last ones.
What?
It was
That was like
more
2
obnoxious
episodes ago.
somehow.
Why'd I say more?